Hello everybody, James Hoffman here, and today we're going to be talking about coffee. Actually, we're going to be talking about the Matrix. We're going to be explaining the Matrix architect scene to Rhea Ripley and the rest of the normies. The people who don't understand the Matrix and the people who don't understand the scene with the architect from the Matrix Reloaded. Okay, and some people don't understand it, and I'm James Hoffman, and I'm here to explain it to people. Some people don't understand it, like normies and women, like Rhea Ripley, like Ontiria. It just, some movies are too philosophical for her. So, grab a comfy chair, and I got some nice coffee with milk, and we got a little wooden. Come the fuck on, there. All right. And grab yourself a nice Tim-Tam. Grab yourself a cold one, and we're gonna be explaining. So first of all, what is the Matrix? Okay, I trust that everybody knows already what the Matrix is, but still we need to explain how the humans actually produce energy and why the Matrix is needed. Okay, so when the machines finally killed off, defeated the humans, they grabbed all the humans and they put them in like a VR, in like VR seats with the VR headset. So the humans were gonna be sleeping. Okay. In the real world, humans were arranged in fields, towers, like fields, like towers, where the humans were tied up, sleeping with VR headsets. That's kind of like the sexual fantasies, the sexual fantasies of Ontario, where she's tied up and she's sedated and she's, things are done to her, sexy things. Anyway, so humans go to sleep. How do we produce electricity from them? Because the machines, they see us as they can produce electricity from us the same way if you had like a potato plant. When you attach electrodes to a potato plant, you actually can produce some electricity. So if you had like potato plants and you plug them and you just got some fucking potatoes and they're fucking producing electricity over here, So, but how do humans differentiate from a car battery? Any type of battery, a car battery, it's gonna have layers of some kind of a wool inside, mesh with acid. Okay, quite simple. So with a car battery, the acid just makes some magic with the wool, and you just get a fucking 70 ampere hours. You get your 12.8 volts electricity, and it just works. And you just gotta make sure that the battery is like not freezing and stuff, and you gotta top it up, sometimes, but pretty much this. Okay, with the humans, if I remember correctly, it wasn't just from the body heat. The body heat is one thing we produce, but we were producing more electricity with our emotions. So if we were just like standing, just sleeping, just not dreaming, we're kind of producing a little. But if we were like dreaming that we were racing cars and having sex and getting our heart broken and anger and fear and lust and wanting things, and Auntie is around the corner and I can't get her. She runs away. Damn it, I had my van right here, bro. So these emotions are gonna cause us to produce more energy, right? Imagine Ontaria is trying to get a Tim-Tam, but she can't open the Tim-Tam, and she gets excited, like, come the fuck out, I wanna open the Tim-Tam, bro. And she gets angry, I want the Tim-Tam, I'll do anything for a Tim-Tam. And she's producing electricity by being a retard, So that's how humans work in the movie. At least in the movie, we produce more electricity, more juice when we are living like exciting lives, emotional lives. So just like in the real world, the Tibetan monks discovered that this world is fake, so we just gotta be very chill. We gotta be meditating, just like don't give a shit. We're just keeping calm. Just keeping calm because I don't want to get even in the real world, there's this mythology that we produce something called loosh. We produce something called loosh, which is like a prana, like a energy, some kind of a living energy. And there's like succubuses. Ontiria tries to be like a succubus, but she's kind of autistic, so it comes out like cringe, right? Just how they say some women are succubuses, they want your energy and attention, and they say real succubuses exist, and if you're a man you might get fucked in your dreams, and then you wake up and you feel tired. That's when the succubus gets you. So this living energy, and you would notice in the real world that when a man has been fapping too much, ejaculating, okay, because fapping revs you up, but it's all about if you're gonna lose the energy, ejaculation. So men who are having sex like every day and or watch porn, whatever, and you ejaculate, you start to kind of be like, I don't want to do anything. I don't feel like a go-getter. I just want to watch anime all day. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to cook. I don't want to, and so you as a battery, you need to refresh your, how do we call them? You need to refresh your battery by, vitamins, minerals, amino acids. We got tribus terrestris. Eating nutritious stuff like liver, caviar, collagen, beef protein, essential amino acids, all kinds of stuff, Right. Anyway, let's go back to the movie world of the Matrix. So in the Matrix, in the beginning, the machines didn't care that the humans needed to be emotional. The machines were just concerned with create a fake dream world where the humans can just think that they're living, and they're gonna keep producing power, right? So all they care about is make sure the humans are not randomly getting suicidal, make sure they're not all deciding to die or stop working. They're just keep them living in the fake world and producing electricity, and don't do any dumb shit, Then in the third movie, in the new movie, the new guy who replaces the architect, he's called what was he called? The consultant? No, the analyst. The analyst. Non teria. I'm what you might call an analyst. You are what we might call, somebody that can control her sexual impulses. She's not capable of, analyzing things. She's just, driven by her emotions. The Tim-Tam monster, right? You see a little boo-boo doll, you're like, I want a little boo-boo doll. I see a little boo-boo doll, I'm like, let me analyze, I'm feeling cute. Let me analyze. Why am I getting the urge to buy this little boo-boo doll? Antiria, she does not have that. She's like, I want a boo-boo doll. So it's kind of like a 2-year-old. I want sex. I want Tim-Tams. I want boo-boo dolls. I want attention. Okay. If somebody's making fun of me, I'm like, oh wow, that's funny. Why would that person make fun of me? It's like interesting. It's a question to ask. Why would somebody make fun of me? Auntie Rhea, she's like, I'm making fun of her. She's like, I want him arrested. I want him arrested right now. He can make fun of. So it's kind of like a 2-year-old. So you want to be an analyst, okay? It's a good thing to be an analyst. It's a good thing to be an architect. But anyway, in the third movie, the analyst discovered that humans produce more energy if they are living an emotional roller coaster. In their dream, like fun stuff are happening, they want something and they can't get it, and they feel like they might get it, and they feel it's like just I can't get it, bro, and I want it, and I so that's how the machines can put you in a nightmare where it's like let's say in the real world, if I was a demon, if I wanted to fuck with you. So let's say in the real world, you're in love with Buddy Matthews and you're happily married. But if I was a demon in the real world and I wanted to fuck with you, I would make you feel these feelings like you're falling in love with another man. You're falling in love with Alistair Black from across the street, and you have feelings from him, and you can't have him because you're stuck being married. You're married, and Alistair Black is married to Zelina Vega, and you didn't have these feelings before, but I can implant them in your head if I was a demon, right? So I can fuck with your mind. So now you're thinking you're in love with Alistair Black, and you're just like, I want his ass, and I can't have him, and if I had him, it would be wonderful, we would be in love, and I can't have him. Right? And you're just like revving up, and you're just constantly feeling this need, this yearning, and you can't have it, and it's constantly being an emotional bitch, And most women operate this way, You're constantly, the grass is greener on the other side, I'm happy with my husband, but damn, I want to have this guy too. I want him to give me attention, So that's how the analyst would make you produce more energy if he was constantly, giving you things you can't have, but you want them, but you can't have them, and you're constantly producing the loosh, the electricity, right? Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what happens in the third movie. The machines, they made Trinity married to some schmuck, and Trinity wanted to be with Neo, and then Neo wanted to be with Trinity, but they just can't be together, and they were just producing this a lot of fucking sexual tension and yearning and wanting, but they can't, but they want to, and it's breaking up their hearts that they can't be together, and it's producing this powerful energy, right. However, you need to have some kind of like a grown-up impulse control. If you're like Auntie Rhea, she doesn't give a fuck. She's like, I don't care that I'm married to Buddy Matthews. I'm gonna go rape Alistair Black, right? So she just gotta have what she wants. So it's not gonna work for the machines if you don't have like impulse control, right? So, you know, most people have like decency, and you know, they're like, I can't do this, you know, I gotta have moral code, and I gotta be faithful to my husband. You know, Auntie, she's like, no, she's like, I want a massage now. I'm gonna go to Japan. I'm gonna lay naked. I'm gonna get a massage. I'm gonna get an orgasm. You know, she just doesn't give a fuck. No impulse control, you know. Basically, yeah. Basically, no. Basically, no. Anyway, basically, no. Basically, no. Anyway. Basically, no. Basically, no. Let's talk about the architect. Now, we talked about the analyst. So, actually, before we talked about the architect, we need to explain why did the machines in the movie decide to make an interactive dream internet where all the humans can hang together, interact together? Wouldn't it make more sense to keep each cell, each human, separated in his own little shitty VR dream world where all the people around you are like NPCs, and you're not gonna cause trouble, you're gonna have like a safe experience, you're gonna have like the Warcraft 3 campaign, right? You're gonna have a script, like a movie script, and every human is gonna get the same movie script, and you're gonna be the hero, and stuff are gonna happen, you're gonna save the earth, and you know, it sounds a lot more safe and predictable than making like a whole interactive like game level internet with all the humans can hang in this level, like a MMORPG, you know. It would make sense because, okay, humans need to feel that they have free will. So the architect mentions that in the first version of the Matrix, I think if the humans don't feel like they have free will, their brain starts to implode and they just like die. So the human need to be thinking that he's like, he has choices, he has free will, so it can be like everything is like, all your actions are like automated. You gotta have like interactivity, like in a video game, right? So in a video game, you're not watching a movie, you actually have control over your character, and you see, well, okay, I can move my character, I can choose what to do, so I'm not gonna, like, you know, implode my brain, right? Okay, so for some reason the machines in the movie didn't want to make like everybody has their own like little matrix where it's like fake characters around them, NPCs, and so they wanted to make a whole big level, a whole big matrix. Everybody gonna be connected, right? I don't know why. I'm not sure if that was ever explained. The reason why humans couldn't be like in separate game levels where everything's fake and everybody has like the same script, the same life experience, you know. Right? And yeah, actually we can explain electricity producing, you know, like imagine if you on Tyria were, it's kind of like you're trapped in the matrix and it's like you're in love with this boy in 7th grade and you think like he's the one, you know, the machines are making you think this boy in 7th grade, he's the one. I'm in love with you, Stevie. In 7th grade, I'm in love with you. I can't even wash my own ass in 7th grade. Okay, I can't even tie my shoes. I need daddy to tie my shoes in 7th grade, but I think I'm in love with Stevie. Now, Stevie might grow up to be like a World of Warcraft player. Are you sure you're gonna be in love with Stevie? He's in 7th grade, sweetheart. But the machines, they're making her think, you know, Stevie's the one, right? And she's got her hope, she's got her dreams. Oh man, Stevie, we're gonna kiss. He's gonna give me a Tim-Tam. It's gonna be so romantic. And then she goes to Stevie. She's like, Stevie, do you think I look good in a dress? And what's about to happen is gonna traumatize on Tyria. Stevie turns around. He says, You wouldn't look good in a dress. Your shoulders are too broad. Your shoulders are too broad. Your shoulders are too broad. You know, Ontario just fucking snaps. You know, like a broken mirror, just like. Stevie said my shoulders are too broad. I look like a man. It's like, Ontario, you're in 7th grade. Relax. Relax, you're in 7th grade. He's a fucking kid. He doesn't know what he's saying. Stevie, in 7th grade, hasn't even had puberty. Okay? I think I had like a little, my first like wet dream. Like I woke up a little wet. But it could have been pee-pee. I could have just like peed myself. I don't know, in 7th grade. I dreamed of one of the girls I was in class with. She was pretty cute. But it's like, no, I can't say that I've really hit puberty yet, okay? Now, of course, a sexual monster like Ontario, she's probably, you know. But the thing is, Stevie, he hasn't hit puberty yet. He doesn't know what's sexy. He's not attracted sexually to things. He's a fucking 7th grader. So if he thinks that you have big shoulders, he doesn't know what's good. He's not even attracted to girls yet. Okay, he thinks you're like a Lego. Oh, it is like a Lego. Okay? Don't worry about what Stevie's thinking. Stevie's in fucking 7th grade, okay? But of course, you know, Auntie is a child, you know, she's, oh, Steve, this boy, I like said I have big shoulders. And, you know, she's fucking a mental wreck for the next 20 years, you know, to this day. She lies on the bed and she's fucking, you know. And, hey, I don't want to make fun of her because, like, I have, you know, fears and traumas myself. So it's not like I don't lie in fetal positions trying to overcome fears and I, like, feel like crying. The problem is, it's kind of fake. And if you're in the Matrix, that would be the perfect thing the analyst would do, because guess what? When you get traumatized, you're gonna be producing energy by a trigger word, you know. So every month you're gonna remember that traumatizing event. You're gonna start crying. So your Every month, we gotta go back to where that boy said the thing, and we're crying every month. And you're every time you're producing these feelings like it's the first time. Like it's like Ontario, it's in the past. It's been 20 years, Ontario. So it's how the human mind works, that something traumatizing happens to you. I operate the same way, where I feel like if I haven't gotten justice, if I haven't done the right things to say, hey, fuck you, to somebody, I just remember that thing again and again, and I always get angry, and I always produce energy. And that's not very, very nice, is it? So if I was on Tyria, I would just pay to have this guy, nowadays, like kidnapped, killed, like, yeah, like fuck him. If he traumatized you in 7th grade and you've been a mental wreck for 20 years, why wouldn't you like kidnap him or kidnap his son? Like, fuck him. Fuck him. If I was Rhea Ripley, I would have a fucking rape dungeon, and she probably has a rape dungeon. I'm like legit telling you this. If somebody has caused you 20 years of like mental trauma and you're a millionaire, like, dude, me, without being a millionaire, I'm the guy that would like show up at your like daughter's birthday party and just ruin the whole thing, very illegal. And that's me without being a millionaire. Okay? Dude. Alright, so I've been making jokes about Ontario for 6 months, 5 months, and like you can see, like, even on the first month, like, she absolutely hates my guts. Like, she is fucking, sock puppet accounts coming to tell me I'm fat, I need to kill myself, when am I gonna get a job, So she's very, even on the first month, like, she's already like wanting me dead. By the 3rd month, it's been like 5 months. Okay? And like the running joke has been like, oh, Ontaria, we're coming to kidnap her. We're so obsessed with her. She's so cool. We're gonna take her away. And I'm not even talking about like doing anything disgusting. I'm like, we're just gonna take her. We're gonna like watch some movie, give her some food, bake her a cake, make her some pizza, and then we're gonna give her back. So it's kind of like a cartoony joke, And she's so angry. Like I legit, like I fear that she might pay to have me killed or like beaten up or kidnapped. Like it's not like she doesn't have the money, okay. I've been making jokes about her for 5 months, and I regularly like get guilty and need to remind her that I'm just joking, I'm just being an asshole. You're not ugly, you're not, we're just being assholes. We don't want you to actually get sad. I'm just, some guys, we decide something is like woozy, and we kind of make some jokes, and it's not like, it doesn't mean you're a loser. It's just like, when you spurg out and people kind of, they think it's cute, they think it's funny, so they kind of wanna, hey lady, we're gonna kidnap you, okay? And even though, just 5 months, we're just joking, come on. And she would have me killed. Okay, so imagine the trauma. If you were I mean, some boy was made her cry for 20 years because he said, "Oh no, your shoulders are too broad," and she's like, 20 years of like so often crying and meds, But lady, listen up. In the third world, it's shameful to go to the psychiatrist. It's shameful. Okay, well, were you insane? Were you mentally ill? You're gonna bring shame to the family. And we really can't afford to be wasting money on antidepressants so I can feel like sleepy. I can feel like a retard, right? So they give you antidepressant. You feel like sleeping all the time. It's like, well, that sucks. I better cope with depression than feel sleepy all day. What am I gonna do? Sleep all day? Fuck that shit. All right. So what was I trying to explain? Trauma, in the Matrix world, would be a wonderful way to make somebody produce more energy more often. It's like I'm making a better battery. So the more trauma you have, the more often you would have these mood swings. So, it only takes one trauma to make you remember and get emotional every day and cry, and you're producing more energy. So I'm poking you with a stick. I poked you once, and now you're gonna remember it every day, and you're gonna cry every day, produce energy. So it's very, actually, it's not funny at all. It's very horrible. This is like fucked up. Okay, so, but sometimes in the real world, you realize if you got that emotional that some fucking 7th grader told you your shoulders are too broad, right? And nowadays, that I make all these jokes, I say, "Oh, Auntie has ice cream shoulders." Her shoulders are like big balls of ice cream. And I make like way more like crazy jokes. She has Metroid shoulders. And when somebody like really like piles up on your fear and like makes it like funny, it kind of stops, like it kind of breaks the trauma. So we break the trauma by joking, by making you see how like it's meaningless. Like why would you even get upset? That's like kindergarten shit. So sometimes when you see that people are laughing about the things that you thought were scary, right? And so if you come to a playground and you see us, the boys, making the same jokes at each other, and you see that we're not really giving a fuck about it, you'll be like, wait a minute, so I shouldn't be sad, So we gotta explain things to you like you're a child, okay? It's like, no, if Tony says that I have boulder shoulders, I don't need to go on meds, and I just like, why would I care? Am I gonna be married to Tony? Who cares what Tony thinks? Anyway, let's talk about the architect. That was the video I wanted to make originally. We're gonna try to explain what the architect was trying to tell Neo, because Neo, like on Tyria, he's very impulsive. He's not really he doesn't know, he doesn't understand. He's like, where am I? What is the Matrix? You're the architect. What are you doing? Designing buildings? The Neo and Ontiria are kind of like the same type of retard. So she's gonna have me killed one day. I mean, all these retard jokes. So Ontiria is a retard. She's gonna have me killed one day. Okay. I'm gonna have like a book sale, like a book signing, You know, I got some fans, some women are like, your book changed my life. You know, she comes with like a blonde wig. She has a wig to pretend she's a blonde. She just fucking guns me down, just like, yeah, I want an autograph. Pat! Just right in the fucking, you know. Who's the retard now, asshole? You'll never call me on video again. And just fucking guns me down. I gotta pause the video. Alright, so Neo in the movie finds out he's the one. He's prophesized to be some kind of a super powerful human who can control the matrix, and the machines can control the illusion, the dream. He can control the dream world, and he can wake up other humans, and you know, he's like very dangerous to the machines, right? So he actually has the power to control the dream world, and they can't do anything to him. So he's supposed to be very scary to the machines. Okay. So Neo goes and finally meets the architect. So the architect on TV is basically the guy who's he's basically designing, coded the whole dream world. He's in charge of making sure the humans, like in a zoo, are having fun and they're producing energy, and then nothing crazy is happening. The humans are not all dying and shit. And you know, he's in charge of making sure this game level, this game world, the Matrix, is just, it's running okay. Everybody's producing power. They're having their fun, and and there's like no revolts and shit. Okay. So, you know, one of the jobs of the architect, you know, except designing this game world. Okay. Anyway, where was I? So the architect gotta keep the mesh together. He gotta find a way, you know, what to do with the one. Okay. So the one doesn't do bullshit, and I'm gonna watch the scene, and we're gonna go explain the scene, and also I'm gonna be eating some Santa. I'm gonna be eating some Santa. We're gonna start with this Santa. A surprise Santa, okay? ASMR, I want you to listen up. We're doing ASMR for Ontiria. Okay, let's watch the scene. Let's try to explain what the architect is saying. Okay, we're all learning here.
Hello, Neo.
Hello, Neo.
Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix.
Explain.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. There goes some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you
Okay, let's try to start understanding what he's saying. So he says the process has altered your consciousness, but you still remain human. So what he's trying to tell him is, even though Neo has had this awakening to become the one, and he's learned to get out of the matrix, you know, he's been unplugged. So he's not like the regular dumb humans, okay? Neo has learned to unplug from the matrix. He knows this is a fake world, and he's gained some magical abilities. He's had an awakening. He can like stop bullets. He can beat up agents. So he's had an awakening. That's the process, and it has altered his consciousness, right? But he still remains human. He's still a Dumbo. He's still a fucking Dumbo. That's what the architect is trying to tell him. You're kind of getting smart, but you're still kind of, you know, like a retarded human. Okay, Antiria? How do you open this? I hate when they make my candy child-proof. Just as Ontiria hates when her candy is child-proof, because we can open it. Me and Ontiria, we struggle to open things that are child-proof. Okay. Oha. So, me and Ontiria love when we are when there's like a prize in our chocolate. So we get the chocolate, we get the candy, but there's also a surprise, and it's a prize. There's also a prize inside our candy. So we're getting chocolate, we're getting a surprise, we're getting a prize. Okay? Oh. Or yummers. That's what I call it, yummers. And something me and Ontiria share is we both hate working. We just want to chill. We hate working. And we love it's chocolate, but on the inside there's a second layer of white chocolate. So we're getting chocolate, but we're getting white chocolate too. So it's fucking, it's black and white. Man, that's fucking good, homie. Alright, that's what.
Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent.
Concordantly. Now that's one of them fancy words the architect is trying to flex on us. The architect is trying to make us feel stupid. We're just a human. What are these fancy words? Ontiria getting confused. Okay. So let's see what concordantly actually means. Concordantly. Okay. Means acting or occurring in a harmonious, agreeable, or consistent manner. Okay. So when things are going harmoniously with one another, when things are in agreement with one another, like a consistent manner. So if I change my gear, if I change into first gear concordantly, the car is going to be into first gear now, and concordantly the car is going to be able to run now, because so when I piss off Ontiria concordantly, she's angry now. I've pissed her off, and in a consistent manner, now she's angry. It's a harmonious that we know if I piss her off, she's gonna get angry. If I have a car, if I wax the car concordantly, the car is gonna be resistant to UV rays and bird shit and rain. Concordantly, the car is resistant and protected now. That's what we expect. Consistency. Those things are agreeable. So if yeah, pretty much. Anyway, let's see.
You may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Hold on, we gotta replay this.
You may or may not concordantly. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant. Why am I here? Your life.
Kinda lost track. We seriously need to fucking rewind? I'm supposed to be way smarter for this, bro. Let's rewind.
And though the tricks.
What does Neo ask him?
Hello,
Hello, Neo.
Who are you?
Who are you? That's what Neo asks him. Who are you?
In your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concurrently, while your first question may be the most pertinent.
Well, your first question may be the most pertinent. Pertinent. What the fuck is pertinent? Relevant. Directly connected to the subject. Okay, so when Neo asks him, who are you? That question is the most related to the subject, but then he tells him it's also the most meaningless. Because it doesn't really matter who the architect is, for various reasons, you know, like I mean, if Neo kills the architect, they're just gonna replace him with another architect. So it really doesn't matter who the architect is to Neo, okay? And the architect does not see Neo as an enemy, and then the architect knows that Neo, like, doesn't need to kill the architect, okay? So it doesn't really matter to Neo who the architect is. A relevant question, but meaningless, you know.
You may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
And I'm getting too late.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate.
Why am I here? Neo asks. And the architect is trying to tell him, in the matrix, eventually there always comes an anomaly. Some kind of a prophet human that's like an anomaly, and he always wakes up and starts causing trouble. Just like on Tyria, starts causing trouble. Starts disrupting the Tim-Tams. Okay?
Eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision.
Otherwise, the matrix is a harmony of mathematical precision. The machines don't like, you know, chances of things getting unstable, things acting on their own. The machines like everything running, just how when you check the car fuses and you wax the car and you know, like, nothing's gonna catch rust, no electrical gremlins. The machines like things to operate as expected. They don't like things randomly happening, just random shenanigans happening, okay?
While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control.
So, it's not unexpected, you know? So, it's not beyond measure. It's not beyond measurable control. So they know every 100 years we're gonna have some guy pop out. We know about it. We know that every 100 years we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problematic guy. So when we know, we do have some control because we know what's gonna happen and we know kind of how things are gonna go. We know he's gonna try to awake humans. He's gonna try to search for answers. So we kind of know what he's gonna be doing, right? So it's not super unexpected. So we can kind of control. When we know what's happening, we can kind of control the situation, right? All right. I got a mouse. All right. Let's keep watching.
Which has led you inexorably here. You haven't answered my question. Quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others.
Okay, so now if he tells him interesting, you are asking me, you're getting things quicker than the others. And now it's revealed that Neo is not the only one. You're not some kind of a super special guy. There's the one. Every 100 years we're having the one. So you're the prophet of this generation. Okay, so to the machines, you're just the next guy to be a problem. You're not the super special, the first one that wake up from the Matrix, The first one with the superpowers. No, the machines, no, there's guys like you who develop superpowers every 100 years. So you're, the next guy.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
Two possible explanations.
Oh. So what Darktech is trying to tell Neo, speaking about the Matrix, they don't like counting time by years. They don't like counting time by past days, in seconds, measurements. They like to talk in measure time by from one matrix anomaly to the next anomaly. So when Neo emerges and starts fucking up the matrix and they need to rebuild the matrix, that's that's going to be one matrix year or one matrix version, to be the more precise, So this would be the sixth version of the matrix, okay? Which means throughout the matrices, it could be different amounts of time. But, they don't care which version had most time existing. They care about, this is the sixth version, okay? So there have been 5 guys before him, and what happened? Did the machines kill them? What happened to the machines? It just doesn't, you're just the current problem, bro. You're not like the first one that's gonna be the problem. We've never seen you before. No, we've seen you. We know you're bullshit. You're just the 6th guy. Okay. All right.
But no one told me. Or no one knows.
He's like, nobody told me or nobody knows. So shit, Morpheus doesn't know. Morpheus is a dumb fucking boy. Morpheus doesn't know, okay? He thinks, Neo is the one. Oh, this is it. We're breaking the Matrix, bro. So Morpheus and the others, nobody fucking knows that the Matrix has been reset and rebuilt 5 times.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations. problems of choice. The first matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime, a triumph equaled only by its monumental failure. The inevitability of its doom is apparent to me now as a consequence of the imperfection inherent in every human being who designed it, based on your history, to more accurately reflect the varying histories of your nature. However, I was again frustrated by failure.
So the first time, the architect wanted to pretty much create a paradise. But the humans, they're fucking assholes, so they can't live in a paradise where everything is nice, so it fucked up. The second time, he tried to design it more close to the real world history, where it's like not perfect, but again, the humans fucked it up.
I have since come to understand that the answer eluded me because it required a lesser mind, or perhaps a mind less bound by the parameters of perfection. Thus, the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the...
So then, the other program, the Oracle, the Oracle, who is a program, a robot in the real world, told the architect program that say, hey, what if we make the matrix not like perfectly, like nothing is really perfect, there's always like a little chaos element, something can go, we don't know what can happen. So if we design the matrix not to be mathematically precise, perfect, like everything is a little like, oh, this can happen here, this can happen, there's always like a gambling element, Things are allowed to happen spontaneously, how do I describe it? Like, if we keep cats in cages, we know nothing's really gonna happen, they're gonna stay in the cages. But if we kind of put cats like in a big zoo enclosure with some mice, we don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe the cats are gonna eat the mice, maybe the cats are gonna take some naps. So we're kind of making things not perfect. We're letting things happen. We're letting choice. We're allowing choice, and we don't know what's gonna happen. So we're making things not perfect. It's not like bound by, precision. So pretty much, I don't know how to describe it. Like if I create a game world and I don't really set like a lot of rules and I just let humans just do whatever they want, and there's like not a lot of walls, there's not a lot of rules, so all kinds of things can happen spontaneously, just like in nature. If you're growing some mushrooms, and maybe some bacteria will sprout, maybe some fungus, maybe some fucking mold will sprout. We don't know what's going to, maybe we'll get like a spider to grow in there. We don't know what's going to happen. We're allowing things to go how they want to go. We're not controlling every element. Okay, we're not spraying with pesticides every day and like looking at everything, making sure nothing goes wrong. We're just allowing things to go wrong. Okay.
If I am the father of the Matrix, she would
The
undoubtedly
Oracle is the mother of the Matrix.
conscious level.
So the Oracle discovered that as long as there's some illusion of a choice, or you have free will, you can do whatever you want, bro. As long as we give you some free will, it's not like a scripted movie with walls everywhere. As long as there's a path A and there's a path B, we're giving you a choice. So, like in a video game, if your character is walking on a path and there's like a two-way, and you can go the left side, you can go to the right side, but both sides are gonna end up in the same destination. But because we're giving you an illusion, like, if you go on this side, you're gonna see some mountains. If you go on that side, you're gonna see some rivers. And like different things can happen. It's like you're still gonna end up at the destination of the video game that the developer wants you to end up, but you kind of have like different ways, different things can happen. So you're like, okay, I'm not gonna kill myself.
While the sense of function, it was obviously fundamentally flawed, thus creating the otherwise contradictory systemic anomaly. But if left unchecked, might threaten the system itself. Ergo, those that refuse the program, while a minority, if unchecked, would constitute an escalating probability of disaster.
This is about Zion.
You are here because Zion is about to be destroyed. Its every living inhabitant terminated its entire existence.
Right. So Neil finds out finally that when you allow humans to have choice, some of them, because they are not NPCs, some of them humans are actually have a soul. They're creative, so they start kind of looking for answers. They start like revolting, and they start trying to wake up other people, right? So this anomaly happens where there's like an uprising. There's an uprising every 100 years. Because free will starts to really, some humans start to get like really uppity. When they're giving a choice, they start like thinking, they start, there's always this like natural force of some guys starting to wake up, okay? Starting to question things, and inevitably, humans start to escape the Matrix, and they build a fucking city. The machines of all the humans in the real world to build some fucking city in the cave, and they think they're like so cool, and then the machines every 100 years, they gotta destroy the city in the real world and kill all the humans that escaped, and then they restart the Matrix, new babies are born, you know. So, not only do the machines need to fix the Matrix, reboot the Matrix, they also need to kill all the humans that are like awoken in the real world, escape to their little cave city. They gotta kill all of them, and then the process starts off again. So Zion, the cave city in the real world, has been purged like 5 times, you know.
Bullshit. Denial is the most predictable of all human responses. It's the time we have destroyed it.
Yeah, this will be the 6th
We
time.
have become exceedingly efficient at it.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the architect for. That's the architect for, you know, children to understand and on Tyria. Okay? What else can I tell you? Hope you enjoyed this video. I got some things to play with. I got some things to do. Some fun to be had. Have a great day.